Hey y'all, welcome to Unboxing Discovery by G. My name is Gina and it is road trip day, so let's do some story times where I think up stories that I think you might enjoy or get a kick out of. Who knows what is going to come out of my mouth, because once I get to saying something, I always go off on a tangent about something else. That's just how we do it here. Driving to the farm, let's see, I think I left around 9:30. It is now almost noon. Is that right? Yes, it is almost noon. I have been driving for a long time. Y'all know me, I don't like getting out, but I did go out last night. I went to dinner. It was my bestie's grandmother's birthday is today, and so we celebrated last night since I had to come out of town today. So we went to the Cracker Barrel. Y'all, I was so nervous in the Cracker Barrel, because you walk in the Cracker Barrel, there's people everywhere. You're surrounded by all these little decorations, flashing lights. I had a headache already. And then there's, all this flashing Halloween stuff, Christmas stuff, country stuff, just stuff everywhere. And my system went into overload. I tried to concentrate on my junior cameraman or on grandma or my friend or somebody, but my body was just not working with me. It felt like my face was burning. And even when I hugged grandma, hello, that's what she said to me. She's like, oh, your face is burning. And even by the time the meal was over and I was hugging my bestie goodbye for the night, she also said the same thing. Oh, your face really is hot. And I was like, yeah, I know. I took my temperature when I got home. I did not have a fever. It was just from the being uncomfortable. Because that's part of agoraphobia, is that you are scared to leave your house. You have panic attacks when you leave your house. You are socially uncomfortable. When there are people around you who you are not comfortable and familiar with, you're going to be uncomfortable. You could have a full-blown panic attack. It could just be you break out in sweats, get nervous, things like that. It varies. It really varies on how severe they are. I've had a full-blown panic attack going to the mailbox before when I was really bad. And then again, sometimes I'm fine until I get in a big crowd. Like, we went to a graduation down at Ole Miss one time, and you could barely walk. I shut down. I literally shut down. I was like this, and my husband had to grab a hold of me and pull me out of the crowd, because I was in full-blown panic, couldn't breathe, my heart was going to explode. I just could not move. And he had to guide me out of that crowd. I mean, he knows me. He knew what was going on. Oh, I'm in the creepy place. This place gives me the creeps. Anyway, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But yeah, that's just part of the agoraphobia. Is just you're socially awkward. But it's more of a mental thing, I think. Yeah, I just passed it's a hotel and a Music Hall of Fame right here, and I have to pass this part every time I go to my mom and dad's. Every single time, before I even realize where I'm at, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's like a turning in my stomach. I don't like the feeling. I can be asleep, y'all, and I'll wake up with the heebie-jeebies, and I know right where I'm at, because that's the only spot that I really get the heebie-jeebies at. I don't know what went down there, why my body does not like that spot. It's not a different elevation or anything like that. It's just me being weird. Because I am weird. Alright, so this thing is up around my neck, and I don't want it around my neck. Oh. Green light. Okay, what else do we want to talk about? Well, it's almost Halloween. Let's do some near-death experiences. Dun, 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 dun. I have had a few of them in my life. Two that really stick out to me. I never really learned how to swim, y'all. I was one of those kids was hardly ever in a pool. If I was in water, it was the lake, like like a big lake, a dammed off lake, and I had a life vest on. So I had a friend, she lived in the neighborhood, a friend of hers had a pool. I got permission from my mom to go swimming in this girl's pool. Well, you know, I was just a kid. I was young. I'm not exactly sure how old I was. Maybe like 10 or 12. And I was supposed to stay in the shallow end. Well, there wasn't the roped off part where you could tell where it started sloping down. So I'm just bouncing around in the shallow part, all happy and excited. The mama is sitting out up at the pool. She's got her towel wrapped around her bathing suit, and she was talking to somebody, wasn't paying a lick of attention, and I slipped. I hit that slick part where it starts to slope down, and I went under, and I could not reach the edge. I could not save myself. I was full-blown drowning, in panic mode. And I remember, you know, when that happens, your instinct is to suck in for air, and you end up sucking in water. And I remember when I would bob up and my eyes would open, and I was looking at that girl's mother, because she was the grown-up who was supposed to be the lifeguard, and she wasn't paying attention to us, and so she didn't know what was going on. And I remember just coming up and seeing her, you know, looking off, doing whatever, talking to whoever she was talking to. I think it was one of the kids, and thinking, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. And about that time she sees me, she runs around the other side of the pool, she hops in, and she gets me out, and then she yells at me because I got her towel wet. She had to jump in with her towel on. So here I am a blubbering mess. I am crying. I just thought I was gonna die, and she just yelled at me. So I get on my bike and I ride back over to my friend's house. I think I left her there. And I go inside to her phone and I call my mama, "Mama, come and get me." Because you know, when anything like that happens, you gotta just call your mama. So that was one. Now another one I had, this one, come to find out later in life, half of my family did not even know this happened. I didn't know they didn't know. Well, when I was young, I used to go and I would spend a week with one grandmother and a week with another grandmother. Now they live up here in Middle Tennessee, where I'm headed to the farm, or they did when they were alive. And so it was 4 hours away from my mother. So, you know, we would go, I would have fun. I would stay with my mother's mother for a week. I would, you know, they had a pig farm. They had kitty cats. It was all fun and great. I could play with my cousins. They would have sleepovers. I would go to their house, sleep over with them. And then I would go to my dad's mother's house, and we would work in the garden. We would, you know, shuck corn and pop peas, and you know, same thing with the cousins coming over and spending the night. And I had a lot of cousins on that side of the family. So it was always a fun blast of a time. And on my dad's side of the family, they were actually, my uncles had a bluegrass band. And so there was a lot of going to the bluegrass festivals and watching them play, and, you know, the shade tree bands and things. And it was always fun. And so this particular time I'm telling y'all about, that's what was happening. We were, is this my road? Yeah, I think this is my road. We were going to the Bluegrass Festival, and, you know, I'm a kid. I'm going to go and find somebody my age, and that's who I'm going to be playing with. So it was pretty gloomy dark. It had been raining. Originally it was supposed to be outside, but they had moved it inside to like their auditorium place because of the rain. Well, we're kids. It was me, a little girl, and a little toddler boy that she was watching after. And I honestly have no idea how old I was at this point in time. I was still pretty young. But, you know, Grandma was going to let us go to this playground and play while they were inside with the bands, watching the bands. And so we're out there. There's the swings. There's the little roundabout thing that you get on and spin, and seesaws and all that fun stuff. Well, me and this girl, we had some bubble gum. We were chewing our bubble gum away, and we were on the swings. And, you know, what do you do when you're on the swings? You hang on to them and you lean back. Well, that didn't work out so well because it was wet. I slipped off backwards. When I fell backwards and landed flat on my back, I swallowed my gum and it got lodged in my throat. I could not breathe. So there I am, sitting underneath the swing that I've just fallen off of, grabbing at my throat, choking to death. No adults around because they're all inside watching the band. Well, the little girl I was with was smart enough to realize I was in danger, and she ran in to go get help. Now the little boy, who, you know, is still diaper age, he's just staring at me. And I remember sitting there in the mud, staring at this boy, staring at me, thinking from the look on his face, I must be all shades of blue. Because you could see the fear in his eyes. I'm sure he could see the fear in my eyes. I thought I was going to die. The next thing I know, there are adults running towards me like crazy. And then I wake up on a park bench. And there is a man and a woman standing over me along with my grandparents, my uncles, and everybody, the family that was there. Luckily, at this particular show, there was a doctor and his nurse. They had to give me the Heimlich. They had to get the gum out of my mouth, out of my throat, and I guess bring me back to life. And yeah, pretty scary at a young age. Well, I didn't know anything about, you know, I assumed my grandma told my parents. I guess they didn't, because they did not know about it. My sisters didn't know about it. And I was like, how could nobody know about this? Because it's a very vivid memory in my mind. And yeah, so it was a whole big thing, finding out about it and all that stuff, and the crazy things that I go through. And let me tell you, for months on end, every time I fell down, I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to choke to death anytime I swallowed anything wrong. It was like a paranoia, I guess. And eventually, of course, I got over it. I still had a big fear of water and had a hard time learning how to swim as much as I can, which I still can't swim great. I even had a lifeguard try to teach me once. It didn't work out. Now, my little niece, she hopped in our pool. She showed me a few things, and now I can swim good enough that I could save myself. But, yeah, my little niece, when she was 7 years old, taught me how to swim. She's so smart. She's so good. All right, so I was telling you about my near-death experiences, and I forgot one. So we were in that big damn lake I was telling you about. If you're curious about what that big damn lake is, think about the movie, what was it? Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? That will give you a little bit of a hint. So we're out there. Daddy's got a speedboat. We got a few jet skis. We're tubing. They're skiing. They're slaloming. All that fun stuff. Well, I've not had super great experience with water. And granted, I have a life vest on because, yes, we don't get on them without the vest. Well, they blow up this tube and they want me to ride this tube. And they say, okay, here you go. You get on right here. You hold on to these two handles and you don't let go. And you'll have a blast. So they get me out there. And they're pulling and I'm nervous and I'm, that nervous loud kids do. Because you're not sure if it's fun or if you just want to scream for your mommy. That was me. Well, I'm still like that too. So I'm hanging on. And I don't know, they hit some wake or something. And so I bounce. And I'm hanging on and I'm like, wait a minute, something is wrong. I can't breathe. I'm underwater. Well, what had happened was, you know how they have the tube on the inside and it's covered in the, like, well, it's not neoprene, but it's something like that, and that's where the handles are, is on that fabric outside. Well, the tube part wasn't blown up enough, so it popped out. So I'm holding on to this piece of material that's being dragged behind the boat going underwater. And finally, something in my brain clicks and says, oh, maybe I should let go of these little handles that they told me to hang on to no matter what. And yeah, I didn't ride a tube for years because I was okay, but it just scared me and scarred me. I think this is why I've had such a hard time learning to swim, because I've had so many traumatic experiences in water. Anyway, I hope y'all are getting a chuckle out of this. I'd really appreciate it if you would press all those lovely YouTube buttons. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribing to my channel is free, and I really appreciate it. Don't forget to share with your friends. Press that notification bell so you know when all my videos are coming out. And if you would like to donate to your creator, there are 2 ways to do that. By the way, I am the creator. You can push the super thanks button, which is like giving a tip through YouTube, or you can buy me a coffee. There is a link below for that. Thank you so very much if you use my links. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and God bless.